It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Fletcher, good morning, sir.
Hello, yay.
Ryder.
What's the bill? Come on. How much?
How much you got?
No, I'm asking how much the repairs are.
I'm asking you how much you got.
A conversation I have with the freaking IRS every year. You know how much money I owe.
That's exactly right.
Just tell me.
Why are we jumping through hoops?
I don't know. I'm texting my tax dude at like 5:55 this morning because we're not done yet.
No, really?
Yeah.
See, that's why I always say, do the extension. I wait till October.
Or, Ryder, do what we do. I make an appointment in December for like the first week of February because they have to have it to us by January 31st. Just get it done and it's over with. And it's one of the only things I don't procrastinate on in my entire life.
I mean, I got a special tax guy and we're kind of operating on his schedule.
Okay.
So there's
special. It's interesting when you say special, you have a little tick. It's like special tax guy, special tax guy. You don't want to give any more information. I can see that about you. I'm not going to press you for this.
Okay.
Listen, and it may, I'm not even going to imply that there's something illegal happening. What I am going to do is say I'm feeling Minnesota, which is my way of saying let's get to the headlines. Paul, what's happening?
Minneapolis police will begin encrypting emergency radio traffic. This is something I've never thought about.
Okay.
But now when you say it out loud, it's like, why haven't you been doing this already?
Okay.
In a statement, the city said the dramatic rise in use of social media and scanner apps to track first responders jeopardizes emergency response operations and can lead to the spread of incomplete, inaccurate, or unsubstantiated information. To that, I say, you think?
Yeah.
Encryption testing begins Monday, so they're not messing around, and it goes in full-time May 1st.
All right, shoulder to the wheel. I'm with you on that. Good idea.
Yeah. An earthquake measuring 5.2 on the Richter scale struck near San Diego. It was felt as far away as Orange County, Temecula, and the Inland Empire. Since the quake hit at 12:08 our time, there have been at least 7 aftershocks. That would be yesterday, by the way. Yeah, no reports of damage or casualties yet, though, which is I find to be shocking.
You know what's cool about earthquakes? Absolutely nothing.
Now, I was going to say what? Because, no.
There's all the moments I've been afraid of my life, and then there's that moment when I was in a major earthquake, and nothing compares.
Nothing?
You take for granted that you're going to have air and solid ground underneath your feet. And when the whole planet feels like some punk-ass kid who's 1,000 feet tall is shaking the planet like a snow globe and you're in it, it's not cool.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Without any warning, I might add.
Okay, so somebody that sits here in Minnesota and probably will never experience one, is it something that would be cool to experience once or just no?
No. No, I'm here to
Yeah.
tell you. It doesn't matter. Like, there's nothing. I've been in time. I lived in LA for a little while. I've been in some small ones where it feels like someone just picked your house up 6 inches and dropped it back onto the foundation.
Oh, my God.
And that's it. Like, one thing. And when that happens, you, honest to God, have about a 4-minute processing period of time where you just realize this is all just flashing past and I'm not in control of anything. And then you tell yourself, no, it's fine. And then you forget about it. When you're in a real one, it never really gets away from you. It's just, it's right there. So anyway, no, I'd rather be sprayed in the face with a skunk.
Wow. All right.
Paige Beckers, long projected the number 1 pick. It is now absolutely a reality. The Hopkins 6-footer going to the Dallas Wings, number 1 in the draft. It sounded like this.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Beckers, University of Connecticut.
As I said, long expected. The GM of the team, Kurt Miller, said very early on it was Paige. It's Paige only. She's such a special player. The Dallas Wings, in case you've forgotten, originally known as the Detroit Shock. They were very successful in Detroit. They moved and became the Tulsa Shock for a few years, and then finally went to Dallas, rebranded as the Wings. They were 9-31 last year. I imagine that's not going to be the case moving forward. By the way, we'll find out real soon because May 16th, the season starts.
Holy cow.
I like a draft followed immediately by the regular season.
Yeah,
they got that part worked out really well there.
You get drafted, sign your contract, and then practice twice, and you're in a game. Yeah,
you sign your contract with the WNBA and wish you were still in college where you made more money. The Minnesota Wild need a win. They don't need it necessarily. There's a bunch of if this, then that. But you know what? Get a win tonight. You're in the postseason. Make it easy on yourselves. Don't wait to see what the Blues do. Just win the game against the Ducks and get on to the playoffs. The Lakers-Timberwolves kick off in a few days on the 19th. Right now, the series odds, the Lakers a -190 favorite to win the series. I'm still not sure. I'm not trying to get too hometownish, but I feel like the Lakers are a little thin. And, are Luka and LeBron going to show up 4 times? I don't know. It remains to be seen. I feel like the Timberwolves have even odds in this series.
I know that I've been down on the Wolves, but let me play devil's advocate. Luka showed up 4 times last year.
Sure he did. On a team he had a lot of experience with.
Okay.
Still pretty recent.
Okay.
Still a better player than anybody on our team, including Ant. But that said, I don't know. The T-Wolves, their defense the last month and a half has been pretty sensational.
Okay. Good to know.
Good morning, Vadnais Heights. Glad to have you with us. If you have ever been to Vadnais Heights, then you know where Vadnais Heights is.
Yeah.
You know what to do with that information. Come on!
You also know how to spell Vadnais
You
Heights.
certainly do.
Yeah.
We'll see who doesn't. We'll find out real soon. It is tax day, and I found this fairly significant. An awful lot of people say they're thinking of not even filing this year because of so many cuts to the IRS's budget.
What?
Okay. I'm all for living on the edge, but not with the tax man.
Yeah, don't mess with those guys.
Because you know what? They don't care. When they do find you, it might be 9 years from now. There's no you can't go like, I thought with all the budget cuts you guys would notice. That doesn't work, and then you can't come up with anything else. I don't know. The simpler you just accept that it's better to just get out of the way of the IRS, the better off you'll be.
You're digging yourself into a huge hole with that one, because part of what they want for this year's taxes is what you did for last year. So it's just a giant domino. You're going to have to move to an island somewhere and live off the grid.
And you know what?
Hang on. Now that is sounding.
I know that's alluring to you.
Sounds pretty great.
Yeah. But you know what? The thing is, too, is that when they come after you 9 years from now, it's going to be a day when you're like, I don't have any extra money.
Of
you
course.
can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just take care of it. Don't mess with it.
If you're sweating it today, how about a little over-the-counter fast food relief from your tax day?
Right.
Because a lot of people are like, you know what? It's tax day. Let's give you a break. Burger King has 1 cent cheeseburgers. A penny for a cheeseburger.
All you have to do is
That's
spend
a hell of a
$1
deal.
too. A lot of these you have to spend up to a certain amount.
Yeah, you have
Only
to be a
$1
Royal
there.
Perks member. You have to order through their app. But then, if you spend at least $1 on something else, you get a cheeseburger for a penny.
Well, then I got to download an app?
You got to download an app. You got to be a Royal Perks member. And by the way, you have to admit it publicly if you are one. That's what's going to keep me away from it. I'd love a 1 cent cheeseburger, but if I had to come clean and say, "Oh, I'm a Royal Perks member," I'd be embarrassed.
You have to wear the crown,
yeah,
too.
wear the crown.
Yeah, for sure.
Hooters has a discount on appetizers through their app. You can get 1 appetizer for $4.15, as it is April 15th, $4.15. Last I heard from Hooters, weren't they already in bankruptcy? Come on, guys.
So this is going to be what saves them.
Just give away those wings, for God's sakes.
Right? Do we even have any here? Is there still one at the Mall of America?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
I didn't hear about it closing down, so I'm guessing it's still there.
That's fair.
I avoid malls at all costs as much as I possibly can. And when you say, "What about the Mall of America?" That's like being allergic to pollen and saying, "I'm just going to go live in the woods."
Right.
It's like no. If I go in there, man, it is a targeted strike. I have a map ahead of time. I know exactly the one thing I need from the one place. Head down, walk there, get there, make my purchase, get the hell out before something happens.
Hey, Shake Shack has one for my wife.
What's that?
Black Truffle Burgers. Promo code Truffle Tax.
Okay.
You have to spend at least $10.40, as in $10.40 for me. But then you get a free Black Truffle Burger. That's like, she loves the Black Truffle Burger.
A Black Truffle Burger.
Yeah.
Isn't that thing like $120 or something because it's got the black truffles on it?
I don't think that they're like,
You don't think
I don't think they're from the
they weren't
Alps.
dug out of the Belgian
Alps,
forest
yeah.
by a pig?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Finally,
She still
Smoothie
likes
King.
them.
Smoothie King has a deal for rewards members. No problem. I am a Smoothie King rewards guy, although I don't think they have those up here. I haven't seen a Smoothie King.
I've never heard of Smoothie King.
Yeah, no, it's a good old smoothie place. You get $3 off any $15 purchase, which those things, that's a bargain because, man, they rake you over the coals at Smoothie King. So, but basically what all these people are saying is, listen, the IRS is taking a fat chunk of your paycheck. Why don't you get a little fat on us over here? So
Right.
Good plan.
like
because
that.
Smoothie King's the place you go in there and you're like, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to get one of those. I'm going to get an ostrich stick for some protein with my smoothie. And then you look on the board and you're like, 1,300 calories. What the hell?
Yeah.
This is a protein smoothie. It's not supposed to. Yeah, no, it
That's
doesn't work.
per drink, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
Per sip, yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Real quick, a lot of other people did also say if they are planning to file, they're not going to sweat the details. They feel like you can be way more reckless with mistakes this year.
That I believe.
That I could kind of go for. You know what I mean? Like maybe throw a few extra things in that write-offs category, see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, go for it. Why not?
That's living on the edge. That's not just plain stupid.
Yeah. It is. I will say, and just again, as an unsolicited PSA, having lived in places where nobody does any road work, your tax dollars are at least keeping the roads in shape. I mean, we see it at work every day as we are now entering, as you say, construction season.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I've lived in those no state income tax states, and
I can't even imagine.
Things you really do get there and go, oh, there's a lot of services that don't exist here.
Except for Nevada. As soon as I got to Nevada from California, man, that legalized prostitution and gambling, that really does some nice stuff for those roadways.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, bingo, bango, boongo. Make no mistake about that. The National Library of Congress, or I should say the Library of Congress's National Recording Registry.
Very fancy.
Every year, this very fancy group of people, they induct new pieces of music, new pieces of audio into the National Recording Registry. Like this year, they added Miles Davis's classic album Bitches Brew, Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, the Hamilton original cast recording. These are significant cultural landmark audio recordings. They also added Brian Eno, the producer of many of our favorite records. Brian Eno's now iconic Windows 95 reboot chime, which sounds like this.
But you know it. You flash back to booting up that computer.
Yeah, you think to yourself, wait, what is that? I remember that noise. What is that?
But you rattle off all these great pieces of work.
Sure.
And then we play that.
It's culturally significant, man.
I don't disagree at all. It just hit me. It's making me laugh.
Hey, when the You Got Mail guy died last year, I was really sad.
I was bummed too.
You've got mail. That guy, I was like, man, come on. He was an Uber driver in Vegas, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I don't feel like he got paid that much money for it.
Oh, of course not.
3 figures.
No,
maybe.
no, he and the sax player for Baker Street just totally left out of the back end on both of those things. But so it got us thinking. There's a lot of those tones, a lot of those chimes, if you will, from a lot of earlier days of tech and various companies and various brands. I'm curious how many of these we might know. I don't have any idea. Ryder just assembled a handful.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's more of them than you think. So
I'm sure.
Don't say what it is, but do the two of you know this one?
Yes. Got that one.
You do?
Oh, I got. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I got that one all day long.
Yep.
That's the beginning of Elton John's Tiny Dancer. That's a joke. I know that's not what it is. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. If you know any of these sounds, feel free to hit us up and prove to us just how smart you are. Ryder's got a few. She's got a bit of a gauntlet she's going to throw at us.
I pulled a handful based on we heard this one a lot last week.
There it is.
Because it's going into the National Recording Registry. So there's a bunch of other ones out there, too, that I think are ingrained in your brains, but we'll see. So you two said you did know this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's
T-Mobile.
Thank you.
Boom. Nice.
Da-da-da-da-da. It is T-Mobile. That's how I remember it.
Thanks for letting me have that one, by the way.
Yeah, well, you know. Truth is, as soon as you said what is it, I'm like, I had to do the pause. And I knew it, but I could see it, but I couldn't say it.
I feel like this one's real easy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen that about 150,000 times.
That would be ye old Netflix.
Yes.
Cha-pong.
Nice work.
Which, for my money, still has nothing on the HBO.
Oh, yeah.
That's the greatest ever.
Oh, man.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. There. Oh, that's so good.
Man, when you see that, you're like, I might not like it, but it's going to be good. I mean, it might be over my head.
It immediately makes me think of Entourage because I've watched that show 1.5 billion times, and that one always is at the beginning.
Watched one episode.
That was it, huh?
Yeah.
Just couldn't do it?
I don't care about these people.
I watched it on, the CW or something. Ultra censored.
Yeah, right.
And then dudes came back at me later and were like, you're just missing
right.
75% of the show.
Beep,
and scenes cut out and all that sort of thing.
Sure.
Holy cow, yeah.
All right, let's throw back a little bit. What about, do you know this one?
It sounds like the beginning of a Lionel Richie hit in 1987, but
it's
but
not
I'm
dancing
assuming
on the
it's
ceiling.
I'm assuming it's not.
Is that just Windows?
Give it to me again.
No, I know what that is.
What is it?
What is it?
Apple.
It is Apple.
When your computer
that's
starts.
dude.
Oh, it sure is. Wow.
Yeah.
And
Never heard it with headphones on before.
There was I don't know, 10 of them. They seem to alter the frequency every few years or something
That
like
makes
that.
sense
But
to me,
that was
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And then this is another throwback one.
HP? Hewlett Packard?
Paul's close, but no.
It's a computer company.
It is.
Really, really awful for you to do this. Dell. No, it's not. No.
It's not?
It's part of Dell. It could be part of an HP.
It's
Intel.
Yes, there you go.
Intel
man.
premium
I needed the
processing.
hint,
There it
but,
is. There it
the
is.
hint. I needed the help processing it.
Help process it.
Cassidy jumped in on the text line. She had it. Intel.
Thanks, Cassidy.
Look, just know this. I didn't have an email address until the year 2000.
Seriously?
Damn.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's not too far.
I didn't get
Don't say what it is.
I didn't get a consistent working guaranteed cell phone until 1999.
Yeah, I think that's about.
I had one off and on in the 90s, and then I would just be like, screw this. And it was, you know what it was? Rosemary got pregnant. I was like, I guess I need to be findable at all times now. That's what did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I had an email too much before 2000. I mean,
Yeah, no.
when did they really become prevalent? 98-ish?
Oh, I was watching people send emails in 94, 95 all around me.
Yeah.
I had a guy who was one of the I met a guy. He was a neighbor of my bass players, and he was one of the guys that developed Netscape. And he sat there at a bar in 1993 or maybe even 92, that early, and looked at me and told me all about a company called America Online. And if you have any money laying around, invest in it and blah, 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 blah. And I said, let me get this straight. I'm going to have a computer in my house. And instead of writing letters, I'll send emails. And I'm going to... And I was looking at him. I mean, I was like, okay, Buck Rogers, whatever. And then 7 years later, AOL merges with Time Warner, and that $10,000 would have been worth $6 million. But hey, the point remains, oops.
I remember in 1996, the radio station I started at, which happens to be across the hall now, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I can remember us running promos. Find us on the World Wide Web.
There you go.
www. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
96. That's when I remember the radio station getting its first website.
Oh, the salad days. Give us one more. Let's see how we do here.
One more?
Yeah.
Sure.
I love this.
This is a long one.
Oh, yeah.
It's the, it's in the theater. It's the sound, Dolby, surround sound, whatever the hell. It's one of those.
It's Dolby, right?
No, it's,
Cinedigm?
It's in the theater. I can taste popcorn when I hear it.
THX.
Yeah.
That's right. That's, George Lucas.
Oh, it's
THX.
in Dubley, isn't it? That was in Dubley. That's why it sounds so good. It's in Dubley. So, wow, check this text out. Someone said, just talking about Netscape. I have a Netscape.net email account still.
No,
What?
you don't.
I have one friend who still never, ever changed. Still on AOL, their email. Never changed it.
I have a friend who's still got an AOL account.
I get excited when people give their winner info and they have Hotmail accounts.
Oh, yeah. I still see those occasionally.
Yeah.
I remember getting setting up my first email, and it was AOL, and it was the summer of 2000, and I was at a hotel, and I went out and I bought a laptop, and I plugged in the phone line.
Yes.
And I had seen AOL. I've been looking at other people being so cool, and I wasn't a part of it, and I just established that first email account, and it had the instant messenger, and I was like, I really did feel like I have just jumped decades into the future. This is amazing. And then within a month, I would be like, oh, I guess I should check. I'd open my laptop once every 10 days. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to do this every day.
You didn't even need to. You just did it because they're like, oh, yeah, I got to go do that again.
I was just wondering if anybody had tried to IM me.
Yeah. So great.
Instant chat, whatever it was called, AOL chat. A lot of these we can get into throughout the day, but yeah, it's funny. Those sounds, like I genuinely did. I meant that when I said you played that THX thing, and I was like popcorn. I mean, I just right away before I even connected, I was just like, what is that flavor? What is that taste in my mouth? These things happen. Hey, the 2025 Tee It Up Golf Cart number 3, presented by Club Champion, is on sale now. If you, like me, are inspired by Rory McIlroy to get out there and really be good this year, you can golf 7 area courses, and while doing it, you'll save over $200. All you got to do for info or to purchase, text the word golf to 651-989-ROCK. I'm feeling golfy. I'm also feeling Minnesota. Headlines coming up.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Good Tuesday morning.
Oh, hi.
Say, as long as we're all here, why not turn on the mics and have a good time? Ryder, you cool with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we got up and everything. And
I mean, if we're here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time, Mr. Hand? Yes. We're happy to have everybody with us. On your way, wherever it is you're going, you probably are wondering what's going on in the world. And thankfully, my friend Paul Fletcher is here to explain that to you.
I wish I had a business where I could invent price hikes and everybody would just keep buying what I'm selling. That in mind, homeowners insurance rates in Minnesota are expected to jump 15% this year.
Oh, come on.
According to Insurify.
15% in 1 year.
The average annual premium will be $4,058, up from $3,524, according to this report. The report blames severe weather in recent years for the price hikes. Have we not had... I'm crazy now. I'm 51.
Okay.
Have we had severe weather like pretty much my whole life? I feel like we had severe weather when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That we have.
There's always been severe weather in Minnesota.
Okay, but now all of a sudden we need to jump 15%.
Well, but what you're getting for that extra 15% is the legendarily fantastic, quick, and easy customer service.
Oh, that's right.
You're getting no hassle claims paid off in full. The insurance companies have earned that reputation.
Instantly. I mean, you expect a check within 3 days, probably.
Oof, boy,
unbelievable.
That's rough. That's a bit of a hike. If by the way, you said you want to invent a product where you can keep raising the prices, just involve caffeine. You'll be safe.
There we go.
Just get everybody strung out on your caffeine.
Yeah.
And
I also,
you're in good shape.
Side note, I read a thing about car insurance doing the same thing, of course. Katy Perry, Gayle King were a part of an all-female crew that went to the edge of space on a Blue Origin space flight yesterday, an experience they described as once in a lifetime. Katy Perry added the journey offered, quote, a unique perspective of Earth. Yeah, I mean, being able to see Earth would offer a unique perspective for sure.
Okay.
Gayle King added, I can't believe what I saw. Seeing the planet from above reinforced the need for unity.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, that's a little dramatic, Gail, but...
I mean, well, hey, man, the bad news is Katy Perry says she's already working on a song about it. So, she's going to smack us over the head with that like a ball-peen hammer soon enough.
I got to be honest. I don't understand why we're making such a big deal out of this. They were essentially passengers in a really nice taxi.
I'm not making a big deal about it. I
will discuss.
Everywhere
you looked yesterday, though.
You guys wouldn't go?
Oh, man.
I wouldn't.
Maybe we'll get into that later. But,
okay, we'll get into that later. Yeah, for sure. One final quick hit. HBO's Last of Us. We've talked about it quite a bit over the last week or so. Season 2 premiere delivered 5.3 million viewers across platforms, a 13% improvement. So, I mean, no word yet on whether or not it delivered, but I have to imagine that it did.
I'll watch it. I'm going to have to remind myself of what happened in the first season, because how many post-apocalyptic shows can we all suffer through?
I'm sure there's a recap somewhere that you can watch of last season. Yeah.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
There's the guy from that one thing, and he's with that girl from that thing, and then they get across the country, and then they meet some weirdos in Kansas, and then it all ended up, I think, in the mountains. I don't know. It's hard to remember.
That faces look like flowers. It's all, it's super. Yeah.
It's tough to remember.
That's what I got.
In the world of sport, how about this? Paige Beckers, Hopkins, Minnesota's very own, to the surprise of literally no one, went number 1 in the WNBA draft last night. Now, it's been a foregone conclusion forever that she would be the top pick, but that said, it's still badass. What an accomplishment for the kid from Hopkins High.
Very cool.
And just because I love the little noise, the sound effect they make, and the idea of waiting there and hoping it's true, and then it really is true, it sounded like this at the actual moment.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Beckers, University of Connecticut.
To say the very least, she is a franchise-changing talent. She is someone who will come in and immediately make that team much, much better. She, a couple of free throws away this season from a 50-40-90 season, which is 50% from the floor, 40% from three-point, and 90% from the free throw line. That is about as good as it gets, and she was seriously just like 3 free throws away from actually having that happen. She will make that team legit almost immediately. The Minnesota Wild back somewhat healthy. To your point, not as deep as we would like them to be, but when they're healthy, they're a good team. They have a game tonight at home against the Ducks. Simply put, if you win the game tonight, you're in the postseason. Don't wait around to see who else ties or loses or does what. Just win the game, fellas, and then you've punched your ticket into more hockey. Let's get it done. The Timberwolves tip off against the Lakers on April 19th. Right now, all your betting houses have the Lakers as a favorite in the series. Minus 190, minus 180, which means a favorite, not an overwhelming favorite. No one's thinking sweep or 5 games, but safe to say Vegas sees this as probably a 6-game series in the favor of the Lakers. I'm not buying in on that one. I think the defense of the Timberwolves will have an awful lot to do about that. And there, as far as I know, are the sports for the day that you really kind of need to know about. I do want to get back to this whole, what do we call this? It's not SpaceX. What is this? Blue Origin. Blue Origin. Sorry, I can't keep my oligarch space companies separated. Blue Origin flight with celebrities and musicians and journalists and all kinds of people in there. I'm curious. You said a second ago, Ryder. Well, would you do it? Would you ride up on a Blue Origin space flight? Spoiler alert, no. Okay, Katy Perry, Gayle King, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon dude, his fiancée Lauren Sanchez, and a few others all went. Well, they got onto a rocket yesterday, and they took a 10-minute flight to an altitude of 62 miles. They call that the Kármán line. It's the edge of the Earth's atmosphere, and everybody's been excited about this. An all-female crew went to space. Yeah. Say all the headlines. They didn't go to space. Astronauts go to space. People who know how to control a spacecraft and are pilots and have degrees in things like physics. Those are people that go to space. They study scientific realms for a living. This is 6 rich people who got in some matching outfits and jumped into a glorified Waymo and then came back down and talked about how, now I get all perspective. Oh, for God's sakes. You needed to do that to get perspective on how we're all one humanity.
Yeah, look at a meme that shows like the 2 galaxies that were nearby and has a little dot that says, hey, this is you living in fear and paying taxes. Yeah.
I met George Martin once. I was in London, England. I was at his recording studio, Air Studios. I spent 10 minutes with him. I wasn't in the Beatles. Okay?
Well, are you
You're
sure?
not an astronaut.
Are you sure?
I am very sure.
Okay.
Katy Perry said, I feel super connected to love now. And then as she was in flight, was singing the song, What a Wonderful World. For God's sakes.
If I was on a flight with Katy Perry singing "What a Wonderful World," I would want the Bose noise canceling headphones because I don't need to hear that noise.
Here's the thing: I wouldn't on its own like have a thought on this either way. You want to do that? You have the money to do it or whatever. Go for it. But the problem with this is the coverage of it as being some accomplishment. What is the breakthrough I'm missing here? What is the excitement about?
Nothing.
These ships have been going to space for a while, and people who can afford it are jumping in here. I think they were more excited about their matching jumpsuits than anything else.
It's a super privileged taxi ride, is what it is.
So neither of you would go if given the chance, and you had the resources.
Well, hang on. I might. I wouldn't. I would not expect the world to get all excited about it. It's like they had as much to do on this as I do when I get into a roller coaster. Strap in, keep your hands
100%.
where I can see them. Empty your pockets,
but
would you go? You'll be back in a few minutes. Would I go? No, I wouldn't do anything that has Jeff Bezos' name on it. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to.
Okay, let's say it's not Jeff
guys
Bezos.
That drive Amazon trucks pee in Gatorade bottles. Okay, I don't like the company. I don't like the blueprint.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. Let's just say it's a different company that you can get behind. Would you, for the experience itself?
I would. You know whose spaceship I'd get on? NASA's. People like I want the dorks, the science guys who are not trying to make a profit.
So let's say they've got this exact same thing.
Call me crazy. Still wouldn't do it.
No?
I really wouldn't. Space exploration to me, I can watch a documentary about the moonshot, about this and that and the other, but at the end of the day, it's never I never have a visceral, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm blown away that it can happen, but it's like watching a guy climb Mount Everest. I'm like, I wouldn't go for it, dude. That ain't for me.
That I agree with. I wouldn't ever do that. But this I would do in a heartbeat. I have one question, one condition. Is it just us in the capsule? Is it just those 6? Who's driving the thing? Are they steering it from the ground? Is that where?
Nobody's doing it. There's not even a single button to push. I don't think
that's a little creepy that you get into a capsule. And go, all right, well, we'll see you in a few minutes. There,
that's what
pal.
I said. It's a glorified Waymo.
Sure.
I don't know that I want to get into a Waymo in San Francisco, and so I don't think a spaceship with Jeff Bezos at the control panel is really going to turn my dial.
He's at the control panel.
Basically,
I understand what you're saying. My only condition. Because Ryder, I feel like you would do this too. My only condition is I want my kids to be fully grown up. I don't want to. If something happens, I don't want to leave my kiddos that are 12 and 8. So next year, probably not going to do it. But once they're adults, I would totally do this. I would love to do this. I'd love to get it. I actually get emotional thinking about having the opportunity to look out that window and look back at the planet. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to have this, ridiculously grandiose, dramatic response like Katie has had. But I do think that, it would be pretty heavy to be able to look back see the moon off in the distance and look down on the earth. That would be insane to be able to do.
Ryder, you're jumping in at the first opportunity.
Of course, yeah. If they walked into the station today and said, hey, as part of a promotion, we want to send a radio person into space, my hand is going up right away. And as we're poking fun at Katy Perry and Gail for being so dramatic, but you shoot me up in there and I'm looking down at this big blue marble, I'm probably getting a little dramatic too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I get. It could just be with me. It's like Katy Perry to me. It's just like chewing foil. She just always rubs me the wrong way. But it's more just. The idea that, like you said, it was everywhere yesterday. Every time I looked at something, it was this thing.
It made it obnoxious.
I did get excited about the space shuttle when I was in college and seeing those are actual astronauts. These are real people and they're doing things and the ISS, the 2 astronauts that were just in space for 8 or 9 months, longer than they planned to be. I give them all the time in the world. Those are real, honest to God astronauts. My immediate thing when I see this group of people going up, it's just like anything else. It is to me. It's like, oh, cool, you climb Mount Everest, great, but it just doesn't ring my bell on any level. I'm like, that's something other people do, and I can care less. Call me a cynic.
No, I don't think you're a cynic at all. I think it's overdone. I would want to do it in a heartbeat, but I don't expect a bunch of people to sit around and look at it. I would go for my own personal experience.
Well, fair enough then. So I will say, as a kid, I had a lunchbox of the astronauts. So that was I did go to school every day with an astronaut's lunchbox, and I would stare at it and I would think that'd be pretty cool, man. But then when I would find myself daydreaming of being an astronaut, it was really just more about the cool stuff like the Jeep you'd ride on the moon and the little George Jetson flying cars. I immediately turned it into complete fantasy land.
Not doing the math, but
not a math guy, not really, not a science guy, not the hidden figures thing that all just escapes me. I'm just like, wow, how in the world can you figure any of that out?
Right.
Glad to know that I'm not expected to know how anything works in this world. I can turn this microphone on and off, and you guys will know this. That's about all I can do in here. Because the minute you tell someone I can figure out how to get you to the moon and back safely, then by God, they're going to ask you to do it, and I just don't want to be in that position.
You're going to pay a bunch of money too, though.
It's a whole lot of pressure on me. That's all I'm saying. I'm curious who else would take the trip. 651-989-ROCK. Let us know. Tony says from Minneapolis in a text, I wouldn't get in that spaceship for any reason. Space scares the crap out of me. You're damn right it does.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock was like a horror film to me. I will sign off on that. Did you see Gravity? Mm-hmm. Did you see it in the theater?
Yeah.
Real stressful situation for me.
I mean,
that's one of those I walked in having no clue what was about to happen, which is the best way, as you said, best way to see a movie. 90 minutes of just, you got to be kidding me, man. Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff.
I mean, even what was it with Tom Hanks? Apollo 13? Right? That's the Doomed one, right?
Yeah, Apollo 13's
I mean,
great.
that was kind of a horror flick.
Yeah.
I mean, it was based on reality, and it was still a horror flick.
I saw that on a I saw Apollo 13 for the first time on a flight. And I was not only on a plane, I was on a plane over the Andes Mountains, and I was combining Apollo 13 with Alive in my head. I was like, this is where that rugby team went down, and now I'm watching these guys not get back to planet Earth, and I should probably just have another drink.
Think how terrifying it would be, or not terrifying, but think how nerve-wracking it is to have your car stall on 494. And now imagine having your spaceship stall around the moon.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Kind of stressful.
Is a horror flick.
Kind of stressful. But then again, see, that's why you need all the NASA guys.
Working those calculators back in
exactly right. That is exactly what you need. It is tax day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
we're all trying to figure out how to sneak one past the tax man. Charitable gifts, retirement contributions, student loan, mortgage interest. These things are tax deductible. But, we're all trying to get away with what we can get away with, a little on the side.
Hey, you know what? Another thing that's important to do is know what the minimums are or the maximums are that you can claim without proof.
Oh, very good.
And take advantage of that.
Very important. In the 1990s, the way away days, the 19s, as my daughter calls everything before the year 2000, the 19s. To her, Watergate and the Lindbergh baby being kidnapped, it's all the 19s. Yeah, 1930, 1970, it's all the same.
Right.
She's not wrong.
Back in the 1990s, if you were, like I was at the time, a full-time musician, you could write off virtually everything. You could say everything. If I had a subscription to Rolling Stone, it was research.
Nice.
Dude, that shirt would be tax deductible.
Any compact disc I bought, research. Yeah. It's like anything you did was just. And then somebody realized, boy, we're just getting fleeced by all these musicians. And it changed real fast. But over the years, a lot of people have tried to slide things past the IRS. Okay, here's one. There's a few famous examples of the IRS allowing or disallowing claims. Okay,
I haven't seen these.
This one goes back to 1984. Okay. Baby oil. There was a tax deduction for baby oil. The claim was it's necessary for my work. You think there was any chance this actually got past the IRS?
No way. What kind of job would you have where that would be, quote, necessary for your work?
Masseuse.
Are you working at daycare?
My first thought was masseuse or daycare. No. This was a professional bodybuilder. He used body oil to make his muscles glisten in the lights during competitions. And said, I need to deduct the cost of the oil as a business expense. And the tax court went, yeah, we're going to allow that.
Yeah.
Yep, we are. However, they declined his tax deductions for buffalo meat and special vitamin supplements to enhance strength and muscle development. Sorry, the buffalo meat? No, you got it. You're paying full shrift for that. But the baby oil? Take a break, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
The buffalo meat I understand because I could see them saying you don't need that specific meat. But the vitamins, like, part of the health regimen.
You just never know. So, somebody at the IRS wakes up, they're in a grumpy mood, and suddenly they're like, screw you and your vitamins. Baby oil, I can get away with. Yeah, sure. Make no mistake about it. I wonder if P. Diddy's going for the baby oil exemption on his taxes these days.
I don't.
A little bit of a different thing.
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. The summer of probably 84. I was in Atlanta visiting friends, and my buddy's mom said, Steve, would you take the girls? My buddy Clint had a younger sister who was like in 7th grade. Okay. And she and her friends all wanted to go to Six Flags to see the Go-Go's. And so my buddy's mom said, Steve, will you take the girls to Six Flags and be like the chaperone?
Yes.
Make sure they don't get into trouble. I was like a college kid. Mm-hmm. And so I took like 4 7th grade girls to Six Flags. And we got there, and they wanted to go right to where the concert was held and get in line so they could be in the front row. Oh. So I dropped them off, and then I just rode roller coasters all day, knowing that they were just in a secure place. And then I said, save a seat for me. And they said, okay, fine. And they did. So I walked in late, like way after the crowd had arrived, and I'm right there actually on the second row of the concert. And I'm surrounded by a sea of 7th and 8th grade girls.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I stood out like a sore thumb.
You were tallish.
And so when the Go-Go's were playing, they were all looking at me. I'm not making this up because they're chicks in a band, and they're looking out, and they're just seeing a sea of middle school and high school girls. Yeah. And there's one tall dude standing there. So I was making eye contact with Jane Weedland. I'm pretty sure she remembers me from that night. But here's the thing. InXS opened.
Oh, really?
And
at a Six Flags in
At a
Atlanta?
Six Flags, opening for the Go-Go's. And In Excess, to my surprise, they were still in 1984. They didn't have like the dance pop hits yet. They were still just like alt rock or indie rock sounding. They were muscular dudes rocking hard. And their drummer was a complete badass. And I remember being just blown away by that band. And Michael Hutchence was a tremendous frontman. I did not expect to like it. And I was like, this is as good a band as I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I'm a Go-Go's fan. Love those songs. But they came out, and I just got to say, just so soft comparatively. It was one of the most... I was looking at the Go-Go's going, why would you let this band... Nobody should let In Excess open for them. It's like when Van Halen was opening for Journey. It's like, what are you doing? Not going to go well, guys.
Yeah.
Did the 7th grade girls have the opposite feeling as you? Were they like In Excess is
bored to death. Couldn't have cared less.
Yeah.
Michael Hutchence is up there doing like a hybrid Jim Morrison and George Michael, like this, picking the best of these two very disparate worlds, but still rocking the leather pants. And even I'm like, man, that's a good-looking man. They couldn't have cared less. They were like, wow, I just want to hear Belinda Carlisle sing.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Anyway, my point is this. In Excess, I saw them again a few years later, and both times I saw them, I was like, man, this band is stellar. We're talking tax deductions, as it is tax day. Baby oil, yes. If you are apparently a professional bodybuilder, you can get away with that. How about this? In 1994, a woman named Cynthia Hess, who appeared publicly as Chesty Love. She was an exotic dancer. Mm-hmm. She asked for a deduction for her breast implants. She said, listen, I got it. This is a legitimate business expense. They're necessary to earn a living. And she said, if I didn't do this for a living, I would have never, this is her quote, enlarged my breast to such an extent that they make me appear freakish. Do you think the IRS took pity and said, yes, it's a write-off, or do you think they laughed and said, next case?
Does it say what size she was coming in at?
It doesn't say what size.
Man, I got a lot of research to do this afternoon. I'm going to say she did get away with it.
I'm going to say yes.
Chesty Hess made friends at the at the tax board that day. They decided there was a two-part test that these breast implants satisfied. One, required as a condition of employment, which I don't know what she was... We don't know what she was packing before the implants. I guess not much. And two, they were unsuitable for everyday use.
That's fair.
That is fair.
That is
I don't know that they were required.
Yeah.
But they certainly, she believed anyway she was going to make her job easier, or more profitable.
But see, if you get what she, in her own words, if you get freakishly large breast implants, it's harder to convince the guys at the strip club that you're putting yourself through night school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just here because,
I'm working. I have a job at the diner and I'm in law school at night. It's night right now. Don't ask so many questions, mister.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's tough to pull that one when you get those put in there.
It's a tough one. Last one. Here's another case from back in 1990. A couple in California. They lived in San Jose, but they had a condo that they would rent in Mammoth Lakes, California. It's like a 6-hour drive, and they had a condo. It was a rental property.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And instead of driving back and forth when they needed to, they had a private jet, and they would fly in to take care of the condo when it was necessary. They went to the tax board and said, "Listen, we both work full time. We need this private jet in order to efficiently use our time rather than rely on the one commercial flight a day with delays, and the drive is 6 or 7 hours. We have to get to our condo." The IRS said, no, Mammoth Lakes is a vacation destination, and these trips are personal expenses.
That's what I would have said, too. IRS should have shut that one down. They don't have to go to Mammoth Lakes.
However, we're not done. They went to court.
Mileage.
They went to a court, and the court said, you know what? Given the circumstances, and as long as you were there to personally manage your condo, the expense was reasonable and therefore a tax deduction. Bing, bang, boom.
No.
So, baby oil, a fake rack, and a private plane. Go for it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You've got what they love to call precedent. And I know enough from watching L.A. Law back in the day that precedent matters.
That's right. It absolutely does. Precedent is everything.
I base most of my decisions in life about precedent. Hey, I forgot to say earlier, Medicine Lake. Glad to have you with us. My God, where would we be without Medicine Lake?
Can I take a jet to Medicine Lake
You
and
can.
fight that crap
I'm
off?
almost certain I drive through Medicine Lake to go to mom's old hometown every single day.
There you go. Medicine Lake, glad to have you with us. You can find Gorman in the Morning podcast anywhere you listen, anytime you want, sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. Well, I would give my left foot for some food from Devani's right now. I'm suddenly...
That would be good.
Very hungry. I'm also feeling Minnesota. Headlines coming up.
Gorman in the Morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the Morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Good Tuesday morning. It is April 15th. Call your accountant back. He's up all night. He's sweating. He's nervous. He's not sure what he can get away with on your behalf. Make sure you stay in touch.
All morning.
Yeah, riders are there working those tax forms out right now. I like that.
Good yontif, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy 8 o'clock.
Happy 8 o'clock indeed. We're feeling Minnesota, which is our way of saying, what's going on in the world, Paul?
Well, Minneapolis police will begin encrypting emergency radio traffic. And as I say that, I kind of think, I've never really given it thought, but I think, why hasn't this already happened? It's kind of boggles my mind. In a statement, the city said the dramatic rise in the use of social media and scanner apps to track first responders jeopardizes emergency response operations and can lead to the spread of incomplete, inaccurate, and unsubstantiated information. To all of that, I say, yeah,
let's get some clarity.
I can't believe they haven't, scrambled all of that already. Encryption testing begins this coming Monday, so they're not messing around, and then it goes in full-time May 1st.
That to me is a sign of somebody exercising a little good old-fashioned horse sense.
That's one way to word it, for sure. Earthquake. Those are scary.
They sure are.
We've talked about them largely through the 6 a.m. hour. Measuring, we had one near San Diego, measuring 5.2 on the Richter scale. It was felt as far away as Orange County, Temecula, the Inland Empire. Since the quake hit, there have been at least 7 small aftershocks, and there are no reports of damage or casualties yet. That's another thing about California that blows my mind is the architecture. What they have to go through to make sure these buildings are, to them, it's, I'm sure, an architect there or a builder is like, that's what we have to do, but it blows my mind.
I wrote out the 94 Northridge earthquake, which is there's not been one close to that big in LA since, and the building I was in was as if it were on a rope, like in a pendulum situation. It was swinging. It wasn't swaying. It was like swinging, and very largely undamaged because it was built to sway with earthquakes in mind. And I was like, hey, score one for the architects.
Yeah.
My central nervous system will never be okay, but the building's in great shape.
The building's stronger than your central nerves.
100%.
You maybe heard yesterday right here on 92 KQRS, we announced Stevie Nicks coming to town August 19th at Xcel Energy Center, and we love to feel wanted in Minnesota.
Sure.
She's only doing 11 dates, so we must be pretty special to be one of those 11.
Hell yeah.
Tickets go on sale this coming Friday. Stevie Nicks. You can also win some coming up in 20-ish minutes or so.
I've seen Stevie Nicks in concert 0 times.
Oh, wow.
Never seen Stevie or Fleetwood Mac.
Maybe we should have a field trip.
I probably need to rectify that at some point.
Morning show field trip.
Rectify damn near killed him.
Right? Hey, John Munson, bass player for Semisonic, Trip Shakespeare, and many other bands, actually, suffered a stroke in late February. I didn't hear about this. Well, a lot of people have rallied. Music community here is unbelievable. Friends and fans have raised over $135,000 for him to support his recovery and medical expenses, etc. But they're not done. There's also going to be a benefit for John happening May 1st at the Fitzgerald. They're calling it Munson Fest. I'm sure it'll be a joyous, and they're talking about, recovery. So he's obviously doing all right, which is fantastic to hear. And there are still some tickets available for Munson Fest at Fitzgerald on May 1st.
I'm sure it'll be a great show. That part's a given, but it's also obviously for a great cause. So get well, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I hadn't heard that either. They kept that down, and now they're letting everyone know, and it seems like he's on the right path.
Absolutely. That's what I got. What do we got in sports?
A few things happened in sports. Last night, the WNBA draft went off without a hitch, and at the very top of the show, we, to no one's surprise, heard this.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Beckers, University of Connecticut.
Damn straight, Paige. Hopkins' own, the number 1 pick in the draft, 6-foot guard who is a very, very special talent. the long-awaited first pick in the draft. It's funny, some of the better players in college in the women's game, juniors, are staying for their senior years now because the NIL money they're making is more than they will make as a WNBA player.
That's crazy.
For Paige, it's like, but this is a no-brainer. She's going to the Dallas Wings, a team that was 9-31 last year. By the way, the season starts a month from tomorrow, May 16th. I love that. They get drafted, and then a month later, we're watching them play.
Yeah. You know what? Generational talent for them probably will change the trajectory of that franchise.
I would imagine, much like Caitlin Clark last year, first half of the season, going to be a little bumpy, and by the time the playoffs come around, she'll just be absolutely on fire.
Lights out.
It's going to be very exciting to see. Congratulations to Paige Beckers right there. Minnesota Twins played the Mets yesterday, and 10,240 people went to see it.
That's a bummer.
That's a real low number for Target Field. In fact, it's the lowest since fan attendance was limited in 2020, 2021. Since they lifted the restrictions, this is the worst by far. Very cool evening, unseasonably cool. Cooler than normal, for sure.
Yeah.
The team is now 5-11. I mean, there's a lot of reasons we can look at it. But boy, that a stadium with 10,000 people in it feels like there's 2,000 people in it. That's rough. Come on, let's go see those Twins one of these days.
Kind of reflective.
It's kind of what happens. You know, I've learned about sports, which is if you're really good, people come and see you play.
Even when it's cold outside.
Even when it's cold outside.
Put in the effort to be good. Even if you just put in the effort to be good.
That's exactly right. The Minnesota Wild got a game tonight, I should say, at home against the Ducks. If you win, you're in the postseason. If you don't win, you still may make it to the postseason, but a win guarantees it. So, guys, just go win the game.
You know what? It's a good way to go into the playoffs is on a little bit of a roll, and they got a really good win against the Canucks. Let's just get another win and not mess around and go in with a good feeling.
That's exactly right. Want to give a shout-out to our friends in North Oaks, Minnesota. Home of the Gorman Center for Fine Dentistry, ladies and gentlemen.
That.
You damn straight. Good people up there. Glad to have everybody from North Oaks with us here in the morning. K, or should I say okay? Can I just say K?
No, I'll say okay.
No? Can I say or do I have to say thanks? Thanks. Or do I have to say thanks?
What are you doing right now? I don't know. I'm not following.
I'm speaking as if I'm texting.
Oh, right.
IDK.
THX.
IDK. I don't know.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. I remember very clearly hearing that Keith Moon had died, and I heard it from Paul Harvey on the radio in the morning on the way to school. Of all people to tell me about that. And by the way, Paul Harvey also informed me that John Bonham had died 2 years later. Two of the two great rock drummers of the 70s.
Right.
And Paul Harvey, of all people. And God made a farmer. That guy. That's not where you want to hear that news from. You want to get to school and have one of the old stoners tell you.
Yeah, that would be the way to hear that.
And rock music, sure. Keith Moon of The Who died at the age of 30. Apparently, he was drinking himself. It's so funny to think about Paul Harvey breaking the news from the rock world. I love me some Paul Harvey, though.
I don't know.
And now you know. Okay. Come on, that's radio for the old folks out there.
Cookie crumbles.
Paul Harvey never had to deal with texting. You know, he had that going for him. He didn't have to deal with social media. He didn't have to look at his phone and go, "What the hell is THX? Is this a sound? Is this a sound bar I'm supposed to Google on Amazon?"
No, it's IDK.
Thanks. My daughter made fun of me because I texted OK instead of simply K. I didn't put OKAY. I just texted OK, and she was like, "You can just say K, Dad." And I'm like, "I can't."
No, in fact, K, when you, especially if you send like a fairly meaningful, like a meaty text, and the response is K, I want to throw my phone. And hopefully it hits you wherever you're standing.
I got
Because it's the most meaningless response. You might as well have just not responded.
Yeah, usually I'm on Marley's side, but K is just a giant middle finger. Give me the O in front of it.
It took me a while to not add the AY after my K on OK. I'm a stickler.
I still add the I don't abbreviate anything. I type out everything. It's just texting
waste of time.
Texting is already a shortcut to everything as it is. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't need to shortcut the shortcut. I can just type THANKS. It's not that tough.
I don't do any of the classics, please, like PLZ, or for instead of sorry, SRY. I don't do any of that.
No.
My daughter does, and I always have to stare at it for an extra beat and go, what? Oh, got it. IDK for I don't know. I don't have any of those.
LOL.
When I first started texting when I was working with a bunch of Brits in 2003, they were way ahead of Americans with the texting.
All right.
And back then, you paid for text messages specifically. So the shortening of things was more just to save pennies for every letter you used in a text. But the word, I grew up, I was a grammar, I didn't want to be. I had grammar drilled into my head at my school so intensely. Ralph Anderson, that bastard teacher, made sure all of us were grammar fanatics. And so the guys I was texting with, there's different ways you use the word your, Y-O-U-R or Y-O-U''R-E, your and your. Every use of that word in these texts was Y-E-R. It's shorter, Y-E-R, your, just your. And I would look at them and I was like, oh my God, they don't know which one to use, so they all write Y-E-R. I felt bad for them. And then one of them said, no, it's just shorter because you pay by the... you pay a certain amount for the number of letters in a text by the month. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should relax on my grammar jerk. But people have said to me, like, you're such a grammar Nazi. I'm like, yeah, I know. I wish I weren't, but I just am.
I still go back. If I type out something to you and I notice that I used your wrong just as an example, I'll go back and fix it. It drives me nuts.
No, I can't. I'm so aware of all, and there, and there, all those things. I'm well aware of what a gerund is, I mean, I just, I can go deep on grammar, and it doesn't apply. It doesn't help my life, doesn't make me a happier person. In fact, knowing when people are grammatically incorrect makes me miserable.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't know.
You'll get the double text from me when I screw up the your and your and the there, and there.
Yep.
But otherwise, I just shorten everything. Time is of the essence. I'm a kind of a slow texter, so I'm trying to get my message across as quickly as I can. So you will see the THX and the IDK and I do ATM a lot, which is at the moment people ask me about.
You know what?
I never knew that at the moment. Okay.
ATM. Yeah. At the moment. Yeah. I also don't. Somebody sends me text that way. It's not like I'm blowing them up, or the next time I see them, I go, "What is wrong with you?" Like Ryder, you do you. Confidently do you. You know what I mean? I don't like to do it that way. I like to type out the words.
I prefer to type out the words. I despise when my phone tries to predict what I'm going to say next.
I've turned that off.
And now the newest update, it offers I get a text from someone and it says, hey, I took care of that. And then my text thing pops up. Thanks. I'm like, I don't want you to respond for me, Steve Jobs.
Yeah, no, that's let Steve Gorman respond for Steve Gorman instead of Steve Jobs.
I get so ducking angry when that happens.
Right?
It just makes me crazy. Stevie Nicks tickets. Oh, gosh, I don't know. Why don't we give some away?
Okay.
And why don't we do that by playing a very, very special edition of WTF, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida.
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
I share one thing in common that I know of with Billy Joe Armstrong, which is I always feel like, if you don't know what else to do, just add a cello. Always adds that extra depth and that emotional gravity that you're looking
really
for.
Felt this song, didn't he?
Just a cello is always welcome in my world.
Yeah, he's singing about Kool-Aid. I know, but there's a cello.
If I could play any instrument, it would be the bagpipes. But after that, it would be the cello.
Would you really play the bagpipes?
I'd love to.
Have you ever tried?
Yeah, it's impossible.
I feel like both of those are hard to haul around.
Yeah, they are. The pipes thing is just. I just want to. One day, I just want to be out in the fog, wearing a kilt, blasting "Amazing Grace," and make someone cry. That's really the whole point of that.
That's cool.
What do you put a bagpipes in? Does it come in a special case that separates all the pipes and everything?
I'm sure it does. Now you fold it all down. It's like peacock feathers.
Yep.
I don't know if that's true. It seems like it would be.
I feel like it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a sucker for the lone piper, but then again, I don't know if that was something I had a choice with. My dad sort of shoved that down our throats, and I'd be like, I'm so sick of these bagpipes, and then I'd leave home and hear bagpipes, and I'd go, oh my God, it's so beautiful. That's how that goes. Hey, it's time to play a game. A little something we call WTF, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. We've got Stevie Nicks tickets on the table to give away. So here's how this is going to work. Paul Fletcher is going to share some stories with us that he's dug up. Stories from Wisconsin, from Texas, from Florida, and then we have to guess which state is responsible for this possible malfeasance, if you will.
Correct. And to specify, there is one from each.
Okay, very good to know.
It's not, you don't have to, that I was explaining. I'm still learning. This is still a pretty new game to me.
Yeah.
But as you guys told me, you don't have to have them be one from each, but ideally that's the case. And so I did find one from each.
All right, so we're going to listen to these. Ryder and I will then try to determine if we know where these are from, but then we're going to ask somebody else to play for tickets. But for right now, just listen. We're not looking for solutions yet. We're going to take them all in one at a time.
All right, the first one, two guys got picked up after burglarizing some homes and decided a vehicle with a makeshift cardboard license plate was the best getaway car. Here's what it goes.
We're on with a vehicle right now. We have both of them at gunpoint.
Deputies catching up to 2 burglary suspects the sheriff's office says stole thousands of dollars in jewelry and a gun from 3 homes. Investigators saying a 4th home on South Trail Chad Dulett and Anthony Sosa were not able to break into, reported them getting away in a Dodge Ram with cardboard where the license plate should be.
I couldn't make out the tag. Maroon pickup listed. Looks like it's got a cardboard tag.
It's hard to make out from its dash camera video, but the sheriff's office says the cardboard has the words "stolen tag" written across it.
People who commit crimes like these are not the sharpest tools in the shed.
There, you got that right.
Not the sharpest tools in the shed.
The only sharp criminals are the ones you've never heard of.
That's right.
Fair.
Always the reminder.
All right, number 2, some grandparents were approached by assailants in clown masks and with a machete. And they fought them off with a kid's scooter.
I'm sitting there talking to my wife, and next thing I know, when I look up, I see somebody running towards me.
I love
with
this
his
dude.
white clown mask on and a machete. He reaches his hand through the window, put it on my throat like this, and like, you know what it is, come on with it, get it up. And I'm looking at him like, dude, you serious? You really trying to rob me with a machete?
And my husband looked at them and looked at me and like, nah, man, I can't believe y'all trying to rob me with a machete. Any weapon is good for me. If I can get you off of me and my husband, that's what I'm going to do.
All right.
So I used the scooter, broke it in half. Me and my husband held them down and, commenced to beating them until the laws came. It was really scary, but it was, like I said, it was either us or them, and not us. You're not finna steal no money. We ain't got no money.
That's right.
Man, commence to beating them. Young thieves, literally, don't mess with old people. They don't care.
No, they don't.
They're going to bring the whole bag of clubs at you.
Those two are by far my favorite. All right, last but not least, a guy was watching his neighbor's dogs, wanted to prank her, so he got into his panda costume that he purchased and walked around her security cameras. Well, it freaked out another one of his neighbors. Here's how it sounds.
911. And do you have a description of the person?
It's a big teddy bear.
It's a big what? I'm sorry?
Teddy bear. Honest to God.
Somebody dressed as a teddy bear?
Yep.
Okay. We do have officers that are going to be in the area in just a moment.
I knew that my neighbors had a security camera set up. And I thought, well, I'm going to make the ordinary extraordinary. I'm going to dress up in the panda outfit. So just as I was about to pivot up and walk up my lawn, I turn around and I see at least 3 squad cars with a 4th and a 5th coming. I paid about $125 for this costume. I'm going to get my money's worth.
And by the way, he's in the costume on camera while he's doing the interview.
Very nice. All right.
Gotta get his money's worth.
What's that?
Gotta get his money's worth.
Yeah,
like you said.
get my money's worth by freaking out the neighborhood, apparently.
I like this. Okay, so we got the cardboard license plate getaway, if you will. The scooter commenced to beating on the guy in a clown mask, and then you got the dude in the teddy bear.
Yep.
Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. Where do you think the correct answers are? If you call in at 651-989-ROCK, first person to call with all 3. You got to go 3 for 3, 651-989-ROCK. You will score tickets to see Stevie Nicks August the 19th at the XL Energy Center.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
We are smack dab in the middle of a game of WTF, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. Paul has provided us with a few stories to mull over. So here's what we're going to do. Ryder and I are going to let you know what we think the answers are, and then we will see if we can get a caller to come in.
We got Michelle locked in. She's got it right. She'll let us know.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. That's exciting.
She's on it. I love that.
Well, so Michelle, we got at least one smart person in the world. Okay, so to recap the 3 stories, there was the There was the getaway car with the cardboard license plate that said stolen tag.
Yeah.
Ryder, where do you think that went down?
Oh, let's get Michelle here so she'll give us the answers. The license plate with the stolen tag, he said lifted truck, so I feel like that eliminates Wisconsin. I went with Texas. Steve, what do you have?
I went with Florida. I took Florida on that one. Michelle, are you with us?
Yep, I'm here. I think it's Florida, too.
That's correct.
That's it.
It is Florida.
Put it on my dinger.
You got it. Way to go, Michelle.
Boom.
Fly high, Michelle, like the Enough's Enough guys said back in the day. All right, number 2. The grandparents attacked by a dude in a clown mask, and they beat him off with a scooter.
I love
That's
these
pretty
people.
great.
Yeah.
It's just too much craziness. I went with Florida.
You went with Florida.
That's what I did.
I went with the Lone Star State, Texas. Michelle, where are we coming from in this story?
I'm with Texas, too.
Hey, Michelle, you're from Randolph, which is by Northfield, and that means you're really smart. That's correct.
Wow. I'm liking the way this is going so far.
Yeah, well, there's only one left, and there's only one choice left. It sounds like you guys are on the... You're on it.
We can smell a story from Wisconsin a mile.
You
Everybody
know it.
was too nice in this one. The guy volunteering to watch his neighbors.
Yeah.
All of the cops showing up. That's just too many people for Florida or Texas. 3 cop cars? Come on.
And they also said teddy bear. So it was like, it was
Teddy
pretty
bear.
thick there,
Go ahead and lay it on us, Michelle. Even though we know, I want to hear you say it.
Wisconsin.
Atta girl.
Michelle, you get to go see Stevie Nicks.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you. Enjoy that, which is a silly thing to say because obviously that will be a very enjoyable show. Right
Absolutely.
on, Michelle, coming in strong from Randolph.
And thanks for listening, too.
Man, I
love this game.
To this day, for a lifelong as a reference point, we all refer back to things that hit us at a certain time in life. I was 15 when I went to see Stripes. And ever since that first time I ever saw Stripes, I referenced the fact that I had my ass kicked in Wisconsin once, even though it didn't happen. Come on, it's Czechoslovakia. It's like going into Wisconsin. Oh, yeah? Well, I had the ass kicked out of me in Wisconsin once. I've never, ever... I've been in Wisconsin many times. I've seen it referenced many times. There has never been a moment in time when the word Wisconsin does not trigger a scene from Stripes in my brain.
And my good friend Bill Murray is in that. My now good friend Bill Murray. We got really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our 3 to 5 minutes that we hung out.
And by the way, the scenes in Czechoslovakia in the movie weren't actually filmed in Czechoslovakia.
No.
In fact, the whole movie was filmed where?
Upstate New York.
The Uncommon Wealth of Kentucky.
Oh, really?
Oh, we should have known.
And as a kid in Kentucky at the time, that was bragging rights, man.
Yeah,
we had it
pretty
all
big deal.
going on.
Yeah.
Fort Knox, where the Army scenes took place, the actual Fort Knox. And then Louisville, Kentucky, where he's on the bridge, he throws the keys over. It looks like a big city. It's actually just Louisville. And then Shepherdsville, Kentucky, home of an abandoned distillery, filled in for Czechoslovakia. Go figure.
All right, then.
Yeah, what kind of tax break did Kentucky give exactly one movie to?
Think about if you're the Czechoslovakian Tourism Bureau, you could totally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not really want to use that at all. Actually,
come see where the EM50 ran roughshod over our countryside.
That's right.
I was in school. I was going to get my kids at school when they were little, and I was behind an SUV, and the license plate simply said EM50, and I was like, EM50.
Wow.
I mean, that's clearly a reference to the Stripes urban assault vehicle,
right?
And then when I saw who was driving it, it was a kid in my son's class. It was his mom, and it was a woman. Not struck me as like. She's just pretty droll. I mean, just in person, like, hello, how are you doing? Good to see you. Very stiff, very direct.
Right.
And I was like, I wonder if that references something different. I was like, she's probably like a biologist, and EM50 is like a culture she's working on in a lab somewhere. Yeah. And I saw her a few days later, and I went up, I said, hey, I got to ask you about your license plate. She goes, and she literally, like, it was as if I lifted the mesh. She goes, oh, the EM50, did you write? Do you like Stripes? And I went, yeah, I was wondering if you did. She goes, oh my God, it's my favorite movie. I just love it so much. And when I got a big SUV, I was like, I got to do the EM50. It was the shock of a day. I was like, wow, hey, you're cool. And here I thought you were a biologist. It's kind of a tangled web inside my head at times, I'll admit.
The opposite of a biologist, the way it sounds.
Pretty much how that works. All right, I'm feeling Minnesota. Don't know about you guys. That means we got some headlines.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Genesis, man, they started writing some pop hits after their drummer became way more famous than the rest of them. Phil Collins comes out of the gate with a solo career, and suddenly he's all over the charts, and the other guys are like, hey, maybe we'll just give that prog rock a break then. Maybe we'll just try some 4-minute chestnuts instead. Yeah, catchy.
It's
earworms.
It's gone on to. It's continued too. Mike Tyson's work in The Hangover, playing the drum solo.
I'm familiar. I'm
Over your
familiar
head?
with him and his tiger in The Hangover.
The tiger. I don't remember the drum
It's a
solo.
Phil Collins song. It's not a Genesis.
I just
but
remember
it's,
I remember the
in
tiger.
the air tonight. In the air tonight.
Well, sure, yeah.
Da-doon, 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 da-doon. And then Tyson starts singing. Oh my God, best ever.
You didn't actually think you had to sing that drum fill to me for me to get the reference, did you?
No, I did it for effect.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Just
no, I
making
totally
sure.
did it for effect.
Just making sure. Do you remember did you ever see the Cadbury chocolate TV commercial that ran in Europe with that song? It's very simple. We should find it, and we should literally share it on social media because it's one of the great TV commercials of all time.
Okay.
It's just a giant. The song is playing in the air tonight. And you hear it, the build, and the camera pans into a recording studio, and there's a gorilla sitting at a drum kit. And he's stretching and slowly getting ready. And then at the moment of that drum fill, he just comes in very aggressively. And it makes no sense to describe it, but when you see it, it's one of the funniest things of all time.
There is a regular and an extended mix of that.
Nice.
Of course there is.
Very, very glad to hear it.
We'll get that up on the Instagram machine for sure.
It's April 15th. If you like Ryder, are still furiously texting your accountant, hey, man, at least you know you're not alone now. If you're not expecting a fat refund check, you can still get fat for cheaper than normal because a lot of fast food places are like, hey, it's tax day.
Good to know.
Let's hook you up. If you're anywhere near a Krispy Kreme, a donut shack, if you will, the Krispy Kreme chain has a buy one, get one deal. Buy a dozen donuts, and for the second dozen, you'll only pay the sales tax all day long.
That's nice.
That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, if we're going to make a trip to Iowa.
If you're going to make a trip to Iowa. And if memory serves, just hop on 35 and go south.
Yes.
No. Boy, there's nothing quite like driving by the Krispy Kreme and seeing the Hot Donuts Now sign turn on, though. I'll be honest. It's always a good thing.
Not a fan.
Really?
Yeah, there's a reason that Krispy Kreme lasted like a year or two here, and then they went bye-bye. It's because we don't like Krispy Kreme here.
Well, what's the reason that it's huge everywhere else?
I don't know. Because everybody else has a bad palate.
God.
I mean, I'll eat a Chris. When they first opened in Maple Grove when I was in college, we skipped studying to take a 9 p.m. trip out to get some donuts that first day.
Well, that's the thing. The important thing is when that Hot Donuts Now comes on, it's really helpful if it is midnight and you're already drunk. I'm just going to say.
And here's the other thing, too, is that if there's skipping class involved, I'll go eat a gas station dry donut from the day before.
I'm not even a donut fan. I don't eat a lot of sweets, but
they're skipping school
maybe
involved.
it's just the soul in me that still just goes, oh, look at the Krispy Kreme.
Give me a day old. I'll skip school for a day old.
Burger King is offering 1-cent cheeseburgers. A cheeseburger for a penny. Check this out, though. You got to be a Royal Perks member, and you must order through the app.
Oh, come on.
That's
kind of easier.
I mean, so just know this. If you say to someone, hey, man, I just got a Burger King cheeseburger for a penny, that person knows you're a member of the Royal Perks Club. Whether that matters or not, I'm just letting you know. You get it. You have to spend at least $1, but then after that, a cheeseburger for a penny. I believe it's just one per order. They're not going to let you get 10 cheeseburgers for a dime. But what a wonderful world it would be if you could. Okay, Shake Shack is offering free black truffle burgers if you use the promo code Truffle Tax.
My wife loves that burger so much.
Really? Mm-hmm. So Shake Shack has a black truffle burger.
Mm-hmm.
It's news to me.
I don't think that they're legitimate truffles from the Alps, but I can't imagine because they
some sort of truffle-like product that they call truffles.
It could be truffle-ish.
Okay. Finally, Hooters, who last we heard were filing for bankruptcy, they're still doing well enough to offer you a discount through their app. You can get an appetizer for just $4.15, as in April 15 today, through the Hooters app.
They're still at the Mall of America.
Yep,
I checked.
Still open.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. If you're down there and you just want to. You got an extra $4.15 burning a hole in your pocket, go to Hooters. And then you look at people and go, no, I'm just here for the appetizers, the way that we all used to read Playboy for the articles. Uh-huh. That's exactly how that worked. Standard societal rules, okay, I've had enough of. There's here. I'm going to start with this. I'm just going to tell you right now. Don't tell me to respect my elders. I've had enough of it. I'm not going to disrespect them, but respect is earned and not because you were older than me, okay? Have I made my point clear enough?
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
I saw U2 in 2011. I took my son to see him, and it was just giant song after giant song after giant song.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And when they kicked into Mysterious Ways, that's the one where I remember going, oh my God, I forgot about this one too.
Yeah.
It's like, God, come on, fellas. Play something obscure. Every song they played was just an absolute banger.
It's a side effect of going to a U2 show. It's just you're going to get hit by a hit after hit after hit after hit.
It was pretty shocking. I said this a minute ago. I don't ever want to be told. I hate when people say respect your elders. I've taught my kids. My wife and I raised our kids, and we said you treat everybody with respect unless they give you a reason not to. But not elders, especially. The societal rule: you give respect to elders. How about everybody? Just because someone lasted longer doesn't mean they're not wrong on the majority of things. You might, you can be an a-hole. You can be a terrible person and still be old.
That's true.
I mean, going into this topic, when we talked about it initially, I was on the other side of this. I was like, no, you give respect to those people that I've you know what?
Yeah.
You've changed the way I see it. You guys both have, because Ryder, you're the same opinion, right? Respect is earned?
I like baseline. We give respect to everybody.
Right, exactly.
I like that rule.
Yeah, that's a better way to look at it.
Tend to default to maybe you got to give older people a little bit of a break.
I give them a break in terms of I slow down. I give them a wide berth on like hold the door. Sure, someone's that kind of stuff. Absolutely, but I mean the idea of just a flat out respect for just being old. My mom, who I just lost last month at the age of 96, would scoff at that. She's like, what? She goes, what did I do that's so great? What am I supposed to do? Not last as long as I can? Like, she would always make that point.
Right, yeah.
She's like, if you're going to respect me because I earned your respect. And so there you go. I am my mom's son.
Yes.
Another rule we can do away with. This is one that I don't have to ask you, Ryder, that women need to be polite in order to be considered ladylike. The idea that if you ever, I grew up, my mom was like, if she heard a girl talking blue, if she heard me or the boys in high school say a cuss word, she'd be like, watch your mouth. But if a girl did, she'd be like, oh my God. She was from that generation of, that's not ladylike. And we would say, well, who said she wants to be a lady? She's a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
As we've come back to this, that's the one that actually just stood out to me as well. I didn't even see this one before, and I couldn't agree with it more. We've got two daughters, 8 and 12. Mm-hmm. We have an actual art piece up in the house that says, don't be a lady, be a legend.
Okay.
We're raising a couple of badasses, not a couple of prim and proper little ladies. They're gonna kick your ass if they have to.
When we were kids, I do look back, and it is astonishing how much when I was little, just the amount of touching from adults to kids, and usually family or friends, but still, like, they'd come up and pinch your cheek or goose you or just to mess with you. And it's like, when I had kids, I suddenly dawned on me, like, I would look at my kids, I'd be like, you don't owe anybody a hug. You don't have to be anything. If you're not comfortable, be uncomfortable. Trust that. And I was always so appreciative because I have certain family members who would they would come back in, and you got a 3-year-old kid, and they would reintroduce themselves because it's been 6 months and they don't just expect, Whereas when I was a kid, like any aunt, uncle, cousin, it was just hugs and kisses, and I'd be like, who are you? I don't know who the hell is going on. Yeah, my whole thing with the kids was, you don't have to be a little prim and proper or anything.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree.
You don't have to hug anybody you don't want to. I definitely grew up where you had to hug all of the aunts and uncles, whether or not you thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, no, that was a real big. Yeah, oh my God, the Gormans, that's a hugging group, boy.
And so freaking many.
So are ours.
Saying goodbye at a Gorman family event it's an hour. I mean, without exaggeration, which is why I'm. What they call the Irish goodbye. I've been doing that one my whole life. I just leave. If I'm at any function, I'm out the side door, man. I do my best to avoid all detection when I realize it's time to go.
You know the Minnesota goodbye, right?
Which is?
You say goodbye, and then you continue having a conversation for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you say goodbye.
Yeah.
And then you get into another topic for 20 minutes.
Yep.
And 45 minutes later, my dad's in the car.
Yeah.
And he's already got fire coming out of his ears.
Sure.
Because mom and me generally are still back with the family talking.
That's a Gorman, especially Gorman family funerals. When it's time to leave, you just open up a whole new can of stories. All right, we got to hit the road, man. Love you so much. Oh, you know what I just remembered? Remember when we were in third grade?
Yeah.
And Grandma came down and she had that shoe in her hand, and then there you're off and running.
100%.
It's from my personal experience that I realized the only way out is the Irish out.
The Minnesota goodbye was so terrible as a kid because I am bundled up by my mom's best friend's front door. Just sweating like nobody's business.
Sure you are.
And it's been 45 minutes, and they will not stop talking. I'm like, you told me to get my boots on and my coat and my snow. It's time to go.
Yeah, any sort of societal givens, any laws, any rules that you think are overdue, they probably are. We can get rid of all of them. 651-989-ROCK. Let us know what we're missing on things we want to do away with.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.